I want to talk about the recommendations tab in Google Ads. Now, if you're managing your own Google Ads account, this is something you can't avoid. It's really your scorecard for your account. And so if you have a low, maybe 50% recommendation score, your account may be in trouble. So this is something that you should check at least once a week. If you don't have time, once a month minimum. And it will give you a lot of ideas on how you can help manage your account, but it will also give you a bunch of ideas that are irrelevant and will actually not help your account. So let me walk you through a few examples of what Google suggests that I tell you you should ignore or dismiss. I'm Kelsey from K-Ray Marketing, and I want to explain things about Google in a sense that you can actually understand. Making sure that you understand what is happening with Google for your business is the best way for you to make educated decisions that are going to lead to successful marketing campaigns and making more money from your customers and spending less on your marketing strategy, or at least wasting less. So if you have questions about Google, feel free to subscribe or comment and ask any of your questions, and I'll make sure to answer them. So what is the recommendations tab? So in Google Ads, you're going to go to your account, and under campaigns, you're going to see recommendations. We're going to click on that button, and it will bring us to a screen that may have your optimization score and a bunch of boxes. This is important because we need to go through each of these boxes to see if they're relevant and important for your business. So I have a few examples, and we're going to go through each of them. Additionally, I want to mention that you should always have as close to a 100% optimization score as possible. This is a grade for your account, so Google uses it to judge if you're paying attention, if your campaign is working, if they should continue to show your ads. So make sure to keep it as high as you can. So a couple of top recommendations that are going to always pop up is increasing your budget. Google always wants you to spend more, and if you should is another question. If you have a small budget, you can just dismiss this. Google will always recommend increasing your budget or changing the bidding strategy because they want you to spend more. So you can always view the recommendations to see what they may be suggesting or what they want you to do. And so for two of the campaigns that are in this example, the current budget is $10. They're suggesting $19. That's per day. And the other one is $5, and they're suggesting $8.50. Now they are saying that there's an increased weekly conversion percentage of 60 and 40%, but of course there will be an increased cost per all of those conversions. So I don't always recommend increasing your budget just because Google recommends it, because they have ulterior motives. So we're going to dismiss this, and you will see that a box is going to pop up saying, why do you want to dismiss this? I always just say, I'll do it later. Dismiss all. And you may be thinking, well, what happens to the dismiss? Am I going to get in trouble? No, it ends up going under the dismiss tab, and you can come back here to check and see what that recommendation was at any time. But you will see that the score went up. So if we're dismissing a suggestion, our score will rise, which that's what we're looking to do. Another recommendation will be to target CPA, which is a bidding strategy, cost per acquisition or conversion or action, anything to get a lead. That is a cost per acquisition, cost per lead. And so what we are really trying to do is, this may be a click to call you, fill out a form. That doesn't always mean that they are a lead or a customer. That may just mean that they filled that out and then went on to do that for other companies. So we want to make sure that we are starting with a maximum clicks bidding strategy, then moving to maximize conversions. And once you have a very good idea of how much you're willing to spend per conversion or acquisition, then you can start using this strategy. So some of the bidding strategies may be a little more complex, and I don't want to get into it now, so we're just going to dismiss. And again, I'll do it later. Another one that they're recommending is for maximize conversions. So if you just started your campaign, I always suggest starting out with maximize clicks. That gives you the most reach. And once you've had at least 14 days of Google Analytics tracking your data and making sure that you are getting conversions, then you can start using this strategy. Google can't maximize the conversions if they don't know what your conversions are or if you've gotten any of them. They need that data in order to use this strategy successfully. So we're gonna dismiss. And we'll do it later. So now you can see we went from like an 81% to 96 already. So just by dismissing some. So you may think that this is a little weird of a walkthrough of this video because we're dismissing and not really doing anything. That's okay. You will see other suggestions for recommendations that will be helpful. So for an example, add new keywords. So if you aren't going to your search term report, which we talked about in the keyword video, you can go here and Google will suggest. Sometimes they're totally off base and not related at all. So let's view what they're suggesting. Plumber needed near me, an exact match. Seems good. Heating company. Well, this is a plumber, not a heating, so irrelevant. Plumbing and heating contractors. Again, not what we're looking for. So sometimes Google gets it wrong. So we can click on the keywords we do want to add and we'll just have the checkbox to apply one suggestion. And then the rest we're going to dismiss. Now, if any of these keywords are good negative keywords, add them to your negative keyword list. You don't have to do everything through the recommendations, but it may give you ideas. So we're going to dismiss all. And some of the other ones, upload customer match list. This means that you want to give Google the list of your customers, their phone number, their email, this way that Google can actually find your customers online and start retargeting those people. Now, if you're not willing to give that information to Google, that's totally fine. We're just going to dismiss it. And I'll have a whole other video to talk about customer match list because it's a little more complicated. If you don't have someone managing your account, it may be too much. Use display extension. So we've talked about what the display network is. And when we're using a search campaign, we don't really want to combine those. Now, Google does want you to combine them because you will spend more. The display network will use your budget much more quickly, but it will be less quality users or traffic. They may not be the ones that actually turn into customers. The search ads are. So don't muddy the water. Keep your search campaign and your display network separate, no matter what Google says. So we're going to ignore this suggestion of using the display expansion, meaning that they're going to combine search and display in one campaign. Going to be a waste of money. We'll use all of our budget, will not result in leads, and we will be frustrated in like 2 weeks when we're like, what did we do? All we did was listen to Google's recommendation? I don't think so. Dismiss all. And I'll do it later. Now there's some other options of improve your performance max, asset groups. You can come here and what you'll do is click any of these buttons and it'll take you to the ad. If there's anything else that you can add, of course, as much information as possible, filling out all of these to the green check marks. If you don't have a video, you can certainly go online to your YouTube channel and use those. YouTube videos are going to be huge to engage users. So if you have a commercial or anything that is at least high viewed video, add it to your performance max. Now, if you don't, that's totally fine. And you'll be able to just X and dismiss this recommendation. But it is something to consider in the future. Incorporating videos into your display ads and performance max is going to be great. Dismiss all. So some other ones that are really kind of not as important, but they obviously get some small percentage of the score. So right now we're at 99.8 optimization score, and we still have 4 left. One of them, try the new Google Ads mobile app. From someone that has used the mobile app, it's very limiting. It also has a very small screen. So if you're trying to do a lot of different things, check out your performance, look at your ads, find out what keywords are performing, your search term report, all of this, do it on your desktop. So I always dismiss this. I'll do it later because even if I have, that recommendation will still always pop up. You'll also find that you can show your ads on TV screens. Now, this is only certain ads that they're suggesting that, and that's the Performance Max type, and they'll be able to show on smart TVs. And so you may have seen these. It's not as popular, and it's much harder to get a conversion because someone needs to use their remote to actually click on your ad to go forward. So if you are considering this, this may just be something that you just don't do because you may not see the results. And if you are, make sure your budget has enough to reach these types of devices. I always suggest excluding TVs and tablets and only targeting mobile and desktop. And then of course you can sway most of my users are on mobile that are converting, I'm gonna bid a little more aggressively to anyone that's on a mobile device. And I'll talk about those types of targeting strategies in another video. So we're just gonna dismiss showing our ads on TVs, especially for a plumber. We've also talked about the customer match, we'll dismiss that. And the last one is show ad videos with different orientations, which means that they're in square, vertical, horizontal. We don't have any videos, so we're just gonna dismiss all. And so now we have reached 99.9. Perfect. Now you will check back in a week and you'll see that you'll have more recommendations. That's okay. Continue to go through, read what they are, check out if that's relevant, any of the keywords you can add as real ones or as negatives, and then dismiss the rest. Once you get to 99 or 100, you're gonna have much better results. So let's go through another example. Some of these recommendations will be the same, but we want to make sure that we go through and get as close to 100% as possible. So you will see again the match type. You will see again the customer match list of uploading your customers so that Google can target them, improving your responsive display ads. So Google will give you ideas on how to improve your ads, your keywords, your bidding, really everything. Now, I want you to know that you can't always trust what Google is telling you to be the best solution. Their goal is to make money, and that's what they're using Google Ads for. So we want you to be very specific in your targeting, as well as the campaign targeting you're using within the recommendations tab. So if any of them sound not relevant, not helpful, dismiss them. Another one you might see is use a portfolio bidding strategy. This means that you would have one budget for all of your campaigns. I do that, but I just break it down myself and manually set the budget that I want for each of my campaigns per day. I have a whole other video that talks about what you should do when you're considering using Google Ads, how much you should spend, and of course using the keyword planner to see how much your keywords are actually costing per click is going to help you decide that budget. But also using the combined portfolio strategy, it ends up giving some of the budget to other campaigns and eliminating the ability to control it. So you may have campaigns, say the display network, that is going to use up more of the budget than the search ads. But we want the search ads to be using most of the budget because those are the ones that lead to conversions. So avoid using this style because it eliminates your control of where your money is going. And of course, Google is always going to keep suggesting new keywords, and the easiest way to do that is come in here and check and add the suggestion, or add them as a negative keyword, or dismiss all if they are all irrelevant. They'll also help you come up with additional image ads that you can include in your strategy. So there's some suggested images that you can edit, and based on what they think would be best for the ad's performance, that's how they'll suggest here. Dismiss all if there's nothing that we want to do with these suggestions. Another one would be add a lead form to your ad. Now this falls under the ad extensions or ad assets that I have another video that explains all the options. But you can add a lead form. So it will show on your ad and you'll be able to get the contact information from the user without them even having to go to your website. It's great, but you also need to make sure that you have a system. Once you get that form within Google Ads, how do you get the information so that you can respond to that lead immediately? We all know that the response time of a customer requesting service and how quick you can get back to them is really important. So if you are using this ad extension and you have your lead form as part of your ad on Google, you want to make sure that there's a process of you checking on those forms as often as possible to make sure that no lead gets ignored. Because if you do get a lead, then you may not respond, you may have just wasted money. So if you're not ready to use the lead form because of the internal process after, then consider just dismissing it and letting it be for another time when you have the process or at least the systems set up. So once you've reached 100% or 99.9% optimization score, then you've reached it. Now, checking back in as often as possible is going to keep your campaign in good standing. I do this once a week for my clients, but there's other options that Google will suggest or have already automatically set up for your account, which are called auto-applied recommendations. Now, I want you to know this is a red flag. If you don't know what your automatic applied recommendations are, you want to check them out. you're in your recommendations tab, go to auto apply settings. Here you will see many different types of recommendations that will automatically, if Google thinks, hey, we need these new keywords, you can set it up that they will add them when they think that they're appropriate. You can also find that they can remove keywords. So you'll find through this list of just maintaining your ads that there's quite a few options. What I have selected here on the screen, use optimized ad rotation, improve your research, improve your responsive search ads, use optimized targeting, and upgrade your conversion tracking. These are all that is necessary. Anything else, you will be prompted in the recommendations tab, so you'll be able to do those changes if you'd like. If you're unable to manage your account on a regular basis, then you don't want to do that. You don't want to use Google Ads. Make sure you can hire someone. So there's some other recommendations under the Grow Your Business. I do not suggest any of these. You can consider, and if you want to talk about it in a call, feel free to schedule that with me. And if you have questions about the recommendations tab or you're just sick of doing it yourself, feel free to book a free call with me. The link is in the description.